We have so many stories in our lives, but our stories are not always heard. On the Hear My True Story podcast, we tell our own true stories.
Before the white car backed, our head teacher had scattered. Looking at him, I could only see his tie that was flying backwards, waving at us, and he disappeared in thin air.
I want to share my life story. I want to share my voice with the people because I know that just a small joke I can tell through this podcast, it will make someone smile.
When you ask me what I fear most in life, I would definitely respond to you and say it's fear itself.
We are fighting for togetherness. We are fighting for equal rights. We are fighting to end injustice.
You don't have to be a storyteller or writer because, guess what? Life writes the best stories.
Hear my true story.
This is your favorite time of the week with your number one podcast.
Hear my true story.
Yeah, my dear listeners, welcome back again this wonderful week. It is me, your host, Otaku. Yes, what is so special about this wonderful week on Hear My True Story podcast is that we are continuing our collaboration with Ugandan Art Speaks Out. Ugandan Art Speaks Out, it is the podcast done and produced by Omuti Kreativ. Omuti Kreativ is an organization that empowers young people in Uganda using creative arts. And well, what do you know, my dear listeners? I happen to be part of this wonderful team that is supporting you, Omuti Kreativ, to do wonderful works in Uganda as a co-founder of Omuti Kreativ and at the same time a producer of Hear My True Story podcast. I happen also to support Ugandan Art Speaks Out podcast. And well, why not share some of the wonderful episodes of Hear My True Story podcast? Without wasting a lot of time, my dear listeners, I want to say enjoy this wonderful podcast, enjoy this wonderful episode. And at the end of it, perhaps you may share with someone who's interested in knowing more about Omuti Kreativ. Well, I'm happy to present to you this wonderful episode from Ugandan Art Speaks Out, a collaboration with Hear My True Story podcast. I hope you enjoy it.
With you every week. Hear my true story.
Hi everyone, I am Linda Dina and welcome to Ugandan Art Speaks Out. We are continuing with the remarkable story of Omuti Kreativ. How it started, how it's still performing, and how it's still going to be in the future. To make it clear to you, someone who's just joining us now, Omuti Kreativ is a vibrant society where the youth and children are trained, educated, and informed about social justice, basic human rights, freedom of expression, where they are engaged confidently and creatively in performing and creative arts. They use art forms to engage, to create awareness, to speak to all the masses. Back to you, Sharon. We're glad to have you again for another episode.
I'm glad to be back again.
Interesting. Just to continue from where we had stopped, Omuti Kreativ is basically tackling issues, social justice issues. And it's doing it through the young people, performing, creative artists in all art forms. I, for one, I did internship here. So how do you go? How does Omuti Kreativ get to start giving out opportunities, internship opportunities to Makerere University, performing at school?
Wow, we are privileged to have one of our directors, Mr. Senkumba Adnan. He himself studied at the university called Makerere University, and so he has like the contacts of the school, so it is easy, and he has made it out there in the art industry. And his name is known because of his quality of work that he delivers. And so that is how the school gets in touch to know who Adnan is and how he comes to be like the director of Omuti Kreativ. So they trust us with the students because of what we can deliver to them because of Adnan Senkumba. But also, we also not only have the students from Makerere, but also other universities. We've had students from other institutions, other universities, not only Makerere, come here.
Just like you for one, from Chambogo University.
Yeah. so it's not only the Makerere University. So for me, I was from Chambogo, and that's how I came here. And before I continue, how did you find also the internship? How was your internship here?
Now I'm being interviewed. Truthfully, my first entrance into this place, I see human trafficking something. I'm like, you guys.
Is this the right place?
It has to be the right place, definitely. I mean, it's not what we expected, but now that we are here, it is an arts for change. What did we expect? It just clicked us. You guys, what did we expect? Because people use art for different causes. If the cause here is to fight social injustices, social issues, then we are in for it.
Okay. Wow.
So over there, we started doing our projects, of course, in the same cause. Of course, we got interested eventually. I mean, who would not want to do something for a better cause for this country and for the whole world at large? Because these people are being trafficked. These people are being, injustices are being done to them. They are our friends. They are our relatives. They are people that we've known. So it's really hits you like, I could actually be a solution to this person. I could be the reason this person gets into a better place. I could actually use what I'm studying for to make this world a better place. Yeah, you get my point. That's how I felt.
Wow. The last question. You didn't only do internships through, say, creation of awareness, but you did it more on film work. And now here you are, you're interviewing me. And you're so good. Everyone appreciates your voice and how you do your work. And how did you earn all those skills? And how did you get to that place of being so good at it?
I cannot say that I'm so good. I'm just doing what the Lord is letting me do. Omuti Kreativ is offering a lot of opportunities. You come, they'll teach you script writing, they'll teach you sound recording, design, they'll teach you how to do video editing, a lot of things. So it's upon you to start picking out space for it. I just want to like specialize in this thing. I want to specialize in the other thing. It's not like they're teaching you one thing specifically. They teach you broad things. Then it's upon you, like you said, people go out there, start their own YouTube channels. They are doing their films. They are doing all sorts of things, but they got the knowledge from here. So they give you give diverse knowledge, and then it's upon a person to choose what they want to specialize in.
That's
the beauty about it. No, not in anything.
Okay, thank you so much, Linda. So it's nice that you have spoken more about what the internship provides. Because it's the internship from all the artists that come from Makerere University and other universities. It's not only about creation of awareness, but it's more about the film art place or the film industry and what it does from producing, from directing, from editing, sound. So all those things about film are educated or are trained here by us as a center. So thank you for explaining more of what you learned and what you got from the center. It is what the internees have come to do. And I've seen a lot of successful internees that come out from this place.
Because when you're at school and you tell them when to do internship from Omuti Kreativ, they're like, you're going to be a big person already.
So there is no person that has come here. All of them have big names. I talk about it. Siko Becker, Mdiwa Ronald, Gloria, there's Gloria here, Kutesa, and Hamid. I can't mention the sheriff that is making out their names, becoming a big producer. So for us, when we see such products, we're like, wow, there's value to internship, and people are not just remaining the same. They are really learning more from our center.
And one thing that is certain, there's nothing more beautiful than knowing someone is standing because of your involvement in their lives.
Yeah.
Someone is a big name because you are in their story.
Yeah.
So we need to give Omuti Kreativ their flowers, really.
Thank you
for
for the flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah, so say thank you. I want to give this credit to also Adnan Senkumba, who always stands in with the gap of the internees and gives them the time, and everyone at the center who contributes to that. But we also have other interns that they come in Uganda. They're from German. They come from an organization called AZA. So AZA is African Studies Association. So it's a group that brings in internees from diaspora or German, and they come to Africa.
So we can already see that the impact is already international.
Yeah, so they bring interns in Africa. These people come to learn more from us on what we do, because now they're attracted more because we use art to communicate. So they come to learn from us.
Is that some sort of partnership with AZA, or?
You write a proposal to them. I think an organization can write to them. And if you see that you have the qualities that they need, they trust you to send in their interns, that you can give them what the interns need to learn. So for us, we are privileged that AZA trusts us, that every year we receive two internees from German to come and learn from us of what we do.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
So these people stay within Omuti Kreativ for the time they are here for the internship?
Some of them choose to stay at the center because we have a center that provides accommodation for those who are interested at a small fee. So they can choose to stay here because we have space for them. Or others choose to stay outside because they prefer outside. But we would want them to stay here because we learn more. Some of them come where they don't know even the food in this country. They don't know anything. So when they stay around,
they get to eat the food,
blend
with the people at all the time.
And then to learn more about how the food is prepared, to commune with people, the cultures, to learn everything. So it's easy for them to work very, very, very healthily with the people. Yeah.
Interesting. I get it. So you're having internship from different universities in and out of Uganda, and you're having volunteers at the same time, people that come in to come and volunteer out of goodwill.
We've had people who come volunteer, but within the center. But we also have volunteers that come from German that are former internees that have now become volunteers, and they offer their support to the center because of what they saw when they were doing the internship, the need, the heart for creating change, for transformation. So they just say, you know what, we'll continue to volunteer with you. And some of them have been pushed to places of where they make decisions, where they plan for the organization, because they've come to volunteer for free.
Interesting. So Omuti Kreativ is more than we were imagining, actually, because it's doing all diverse things. And yourself, going back to you, people that I had informal conversations with are saying the leadership here is exceptional. You blend in with all the people that come in here. You are Omuti Kreativ is so welcoming, is everything they actually desired, to the point they're saying this is a family for them. If they don't have meals, they come here and know they're going to get a meal. Electricity is here in abundance. Is that part of the package that you're giving to the community?
I hope this is not only specifically me.
No,
but I'll share about myself first. When I first came here, I think for me it was really hard. Of course, I learned more about social work, but not to a place of how it's supposed to be done.
Yeah.
And so I got to learn. I put myself in a place of, okay, you know what, Sharon? Learn and be accommodative as you can. So, you know, when you come with your principles from the university and you're like, hey, for me, I don't like something like this. But you reach at a place where it's not about you.
I know.
And it's about the people and how you can support them. And so I've reached myself a place, okay, now I want to listen to everyone. I understand everyone at their point, but I also handle every person differently. So everyone is different. When you work in a society, you have to understand that people are not the same. People will never be, Linda, you'll never be me, I'll never be you.
Yeah, definitely.
So much as, and we're coming from different backgrounds. My behaviors will never be your behaviors. So much as I would want things to be done in a certain direction, but I'm not Linda or I'm not Sanyo, someone else. So I've come to a place of, I need to understand who this person is and handle them with how they want to be handled. And then, but also put boundaries of, okay, you want this, but you also need to respect this. You have the freedom to do A, B, C, D, but you also need to respect people. So that is how I handle people here. And the fact that you're working with young people, they come to a place of, some of them, in Uganda, they say, they can get angry. So you need to handle them with a lot of care, but also with how you counsel and train them and speak to them. You say, hey, when you come to people, like I had people who were smelling and like, you know what, when you're here, you can go shower, because when you sit close to this person, they will not tell you.
They don't feel comfortable.
Yeah, they will not feel comfortable, but they'll not also tell you. But for me, I love you so much to tell you something bad. So someone's not going to take it as an offense. So I call them privately, some of them, I could talk to them privately than attacking them maybe in public. So that way of handling people, of understanding each person at their place and handling them there is very, very, very important. Yeah. But also the community part of where is sometimes, most of the times we cook together. So even boys here cook. So that makes us like, okay, I don't know how to cook, but you can learn. So it's not all the time that someone has to cook. So we are cooking together, we are eating together, we are laughing together, we are recording things together. So it makes us feel like, okay, you're family. You're looking out for each other. You would ask a question, young people come here, but how do you handle theft? So everyone is like, okay, this is our center. And we don't have to steal from it.
Yeah, we are accountable to each other.
We are accountable to each other. We care about this center. We benefit from this center. So everyone is responsible. Like that.
Something you said earlier, that sometimes this is a home to survivors that they've come, so they can take shelter here for some time. They're given access to information about social justices and stuff like that. What do you do in the time they are here to empower them, to talk them out of whatever they've been facing, let's say the anxiety, the depression that they are having? What do you do?
Wow. The survivors, when we have had survivors before, and I'm going to share with the last experience that we had, is that you come to a place of, this is home, but you give them an opportunity to express themselves. How? Using art. But you can first go and then you let them flow in their direction of how can you speak about this, how can you share. So they see you doing and then they also start doing. You be comfortable with them. You create an environment where everyone can open up freely, they can share freely. You love on them. I think the first thing is love. Love on them, take care of them, support them in case they need something. When you see, because we used to have survivors, you find someone crying from nowhere, but they're remembering the memories of the experiences that they went through. So you come to them, they're like, "Do you mind if you can share?" Because they don't. Those scenarios or what they went through, they're so sad that you don't just come to someone to share. So you create an environment of a relationship first, then they'll start to open up. But also what we do is we encourage them, we do something like volunteership, say payment. So if they are volunteering and working with us, maybe going to share their stories, we do a facilitation. That, hey, since every month you're working with us, we are facilitating with this small amount of money to support them. It's a way of support. Like, hey, my presence here isn't just because I am here or because I'm a survivor, but I'm also appreciated. I'm also taken as someone very important. So that environment that is created and loving on them and also feeding them in a place and letting them also flow and share their stories is what makes them.
Are they given some sort of, let's say, capital, creating initiatives? Do you have any sorts of programs like that?
At the moment, we don't have that capacity to cover that. But our dream is that when we have more funds, we can do that. But we have had programs that support them, give them the skills. They've looked at empowerment skills. And we did our crowdfunding and we got money that bought sewing machines at our center. And they are trained, survivors are trained, so they get a skill. Because when a survivor is in a place and they're idle, they're going to think of what they want.
They're just taken back to whatever.
So they're taken back. So here is that you have a skill. You're busy with your mind, first of all, and you're also learning something new.
An idle mind is the devil's workshop.
Yeah, the devil's workshop. So you're learning something new. And that something new is not just for nothing. So you are learning to get, say, you can get your own machine with time when you learn the skill and start your own tailoring project or something. So we also, part of the tailoring, we also have a craft section that does the bangles, the earrings, any accessories on someone's body, and they're also trained. So when someone has a bangle, a necklace, an earring, a hairband from our project is called Survivor 256.
Oh, Survivor 256.
Yes, so the survivors learn through that, and they're empowered. When they're empowered, they feel the power, like the word empowerment, to do their own things later on. And oftentimes we release them when they're able to do their own projects. But our main point is to give them the skills.
Interesting. Well, from the session they attended earlier today, all the people we're talking about, I've learned either video editing, I've learned camera work, I've learned this. Do we have films as Omuti Kreativ that we've created that are specifically for the cause of social justice, solving issues of justice?
There's a film that is not yet out, but it's going to get out. It's called Asia, the Last Queen. But this film talks about the survivors' story. Like when they come back, the trauma that they go through, all those things that they go through when they come back home from being trafficked. Because the survivors, what makes them survivors is they survive to die or to be exploited. So when they share, that film was about that. But we've not only made that, our dream is to make more films about social injustices. We have also made a film called The First 11. It was funded by Maisha Magic, and it is called The First 11. Though it's not about social injustice or anything, but it's a film about football. But because we use film to communicate, we do film as an organization. It was an experience for us, and we have so many others that are coming on their way.
Interesting.
Enjoying this episode? Leave a review now.
Hear my true story.
Just to give the listeners spoilers, is Kenneth Mugavi's Asia about Asia that you're talking about. Those are spoilers. I'm not going to spoil for them. Interesting. There's so much to talk about Omuti Kreativ.
Kenneth Mugavi made the theme song for that film.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's called Asia.
So they have the spoilers. They are there.
Yeah, so it's coming. Yeah.
So we have survivors that have come in. Do you have like testimonials of these people? You know where they are right now. They are in a much better place than they used to be.
We've had survivors that have shared their stories. Some of them recorded them. They're not yet published yet because you also have to find their rights to say, hey, it's okay because we respect confidentiality. And so if we are given access, the video, the audios can be released, and we follow them up. We know how they're doing. Some of them have their personal things they're doing now. Others went back to their homes. So we know how they're doing, and we follow up to see if everyone is okay. Our desire is that a healthy community, a healthy everyone.
A healthy community, a healthy everyone. And the young people. You know, sometimes it's very hard to deal with young people.
Yes.
Like you said earlier, there could be cases of theft. Now, I'm just looking at cases whereby someone used to come in and then eventually they disappear. Do you as Omuti Kreativ, as an organization, go ahead to look out for where are these people? They used to be our members. Where are they now? Do you have that?
When people are going out from the center, they usually inform. And say that, you know what, my group has been rehearsing here for a year now, but we are shifting or we go to another place, and they give reason. So we know where everyone has gone. We have not had instances where people just disappear. Also, people always communicate because we have a relationship with them. If they're rehearsing, say, every Friday, and they don't appear on Friday, what do? We do a follow-up like, hey, you didn't rehearse on Friday, what happened? Hey, maybe I got a gig, or maybe I'm not going to be able to come to the center tomorrow because of this and this. So there's that communication, and we follow up. If someone is not coming to the center, we find out. Then we know where everyone is.
The listeners need to be certain about the opportunities that Omuti Kreativ creates for the people that are in this organization. We need to talk about the opportunities because people have always, since I joined Omuti Kreativ, I've started acting in Ugandan movies. I've started doing this. Listeners need to hear about that too.
I think the opportunities that you find here is we have a lot of artists around. You talked about how people have shared they have learned editing. So we have comedians here, we have dancers here, we have editors here, we have directors here. So, and people are free to give information. That's the beauty about it, is that you come to the center and someone is willing to train you how to edit. Someone is willing to train you how to dance.
At no cost.
At no cost, because they feel like you belong here. You are in a community, you are at our center, you are ours. So people give information as freely as it is. They always fulfill the scripture that says that freely you have received, freely you give. So that is how amazing this place is of opportunity. But another opportunity is you're given space. There is power that is paid by the organization. There's free space for rehearsal. There's also a community garden that I've not talked about. This space has a community garden. Why community is sometimes we have planted things like matoke, maize.
Like community garden. Like
yes,
garden for
yes, a real garden in Uganda. So
for a moment I was thinking about a reception place. I'm like, community garden.
It's a garden, and we grow different things in the garden. So during COVID, it was really amazing. People didn't have food. And for us, we had grown sukuma wiki, we had grown buga, we had grown cassava and maize. So people didn't have food. So they would come and say, hey, we don't have food. And we would give them the food to the people.
At a cost of free?
No cost, because it was like free for them. It was like free. So some other people are allowed to come and learn on how to dig, on how to plant, and also other youth, the people who come from this center, they take some things for free at home. So to us, it's like, okay, you feeding a community. If we had more land, we would plant on bigger scales, and it would be easy for us to feed the communities and transform and make people feel healthy and okay. Because food in Africa, I think it brings people together.
Interesting that we are saying Omuti Kreativ is taking us back to the 80s.
Yeah.
African traditional society.
Yes, so
people used to dig together, people used to eat together, cook together. These things of man for himself, God for us, or they've just come in now.
Yes.
We're so glad that Omuti Kreativ is in a place whereby it's doing wonders for the people, for the community. So this is a call to action to all the people. They should be your brother's keeper. Whatever you're doing, do it as a community. Because at the end of the day, it's the community.
Yes.
Supposing you are like man for himself, your child falls sick, you're not home, who is going to go in to ration for you? It's your neighbor. So we're so glad that Omuti Kreativ is bringing the idea of community back together.
Yes.
Communism, not capitalism and stuff.
Not capitalism. The last thing I think to add on opportunities is when we get in holidays, now our center is open. So just you see kids playing in the community and you don't know where they're coming from. And there's a time we had the internees from Germany like, where are all these kids coming from? I said, homes in Kampala or Wakiso district, they don't have compounds where people play from. So our center provides a compound where also children can come and play. And you find parents sending their children, hey, you go to the center and you play. They don't know how safe it is, but they trust us because we have been here for long. So they come here and they play and they go back home. So it's those opportunities that make the young people, the children, to just come and be here and feel like at home. And when they come, we love on them.
Of course, we cannot finish this without talking about the challenges. We all face challenges.
I know.
Challenges Omuti Kreativ faces, maybe in creating awareness, maybe in engagement, in outreaches, whatever it is, but the challenges we face as Omuti Kreativ, because this can be a call to action. Someone can come in to help. You never know.
A call to action. I think there are like one or two. We've faced a lot of challenges financially. When the young people come in this center, they have their own expectations. Much as you're providing the free space, the free electricity, there's something they expect from any organization in Uganda. But somehow you give them money or you support them in any way. So that is a challenge. And for us to handle that, we have not been able to, because we can only give what we have told, we have in our vision and our mission that we need to do this. But for them, they come with more expectation, financial expectation.
Yeah.
So that hits us hard and places us to a place of, okay, how do we solve all this at the same time? So the limited funding really hinders us to deliver so many. Also, when you're doing outreaches, we use money. And because when you say you're going to create awareness, we want to do awareness so in rural areas, because one time we're doing a research in Busia and we realized that borders are more hit with human trafficking than the central areas. Why? Because the children, they are not knowledgeable or are not informed of what trafficking is, and the young people and the old people, even the parents themselves. So if they're not informed, we need people like us to go and create awareness in rural areas or in borders. And that hinders us to create awareness in rural areas. It was done like once, that is 2017. It has never been done again. Why? Because we are limited with what? Funding. So that hinders us to expand, to explore, to grow. It does us so much. That is one of the main things that really hinders us. But besides that, we are talented and we want to go far. There are times when it reaches and we want to deliver more. Like we want a bigger space that it can accommodate more survivors. Because survivors come to Uganda, they don't have where to stay. People who say they're taking care of survivors are really not taking care of them. But our heart is that we shall get funding, that we shall be able to have a bigger space that can accommodate all the survivors, but also all the young people. Young people come here, some of them don't have food to eat. But you're giving them space to use, you're giving them power, but they want more.
Yeah.
So that makes us feel like, oh God, I wish we were able to do. And they are coming to you, you're also not in the right position to deliver. So that hits us so much. Have you ever been in a position where you're willing to do something, but you're unable? So that really affects us as an organization to reach far. Yeah.
I think one thing that we cannot really leave untackled is during the session, one of us said he came here as someone who's going to help out, like work, but eventually he has actually gotten to know his talent. He can actually act. So we have to actually appreciate Omuti Kreativ for building talents. Because you come here, you have no idea what you can do, but you are exposed to a variety of things that you can do. And someone who came to work is actually out here acting. Isn't that amazing?
Like myself, I came when I didn't have any knowledge about film, about artists, but now I know I can produce a film, I can do a lot of things about film. I know quite a number of things about film. So I love the fact that this center makes you learn because of the people that you find here. Yes.
Amazing. So we're coming to a conclusion of this. We need to, I don't know, we shall appreciate from the beginning to the end, and we still not exhaust anything. That Omuti Kreativ looks at an issue, or works upon it, tackles it, and make sure that they've actually come to the in-depth of it and try to solve it in the best way possible they can do it. What are your last words, Sharon?
My last words is that we love young people and we would want to support and expand more. So if you are out there and you want to, you don't have space to use as a young person, as an artist, you can come to our center. We shall welcome you. If you want to learn something from our center, please, you are welcome. But if you're also out there and you're like, you know what? My heart is for young people and my heart is to stop social injustices, then you are also welcome. You can support financially, or you can support voluntarily. Some people can say like, you know what, I cannot be at the center, but I will send maybe my monthly contribution to see that social injustices end in Uganda. But also you can say, you know what, let me support young people, that they achieve their dreams and they don't go in other things that can make them be exploited. So you can support us by sending in maybe a monthly contribution, a weekly contribution, a yearly annual contribution to us, and be part of us. So you can just be like, you know what, I have a skill, I have a talent. We have an internee who is doing contemporary dance. Let me take it to Uganda at Omuti Kreativ. Let me impact a life of a young person through the skill that I have. You're also welcome to our center, and we would love to have you and see that we transform communities in this nation, Uganda, and Africa at large. Thank you so much for
Thank you so much, Sharon. It was such a pleasure having you for these 2 episodes. Would have had you for more, but you're a busy woman. We don't want to take much of your time. But dear listener, it's never too late to make a difference. You can start now. It's in your hands. The ball is in your hands to make a difference. The ball is in your hands to be the reason someone near you, your friend, your relative, stays in a better place. It's in your hands. The ball is in your hands to make this country, this world, a better place to live in. You start now. It starts with you, and it starts with you and you alone. Have a good day.
Well, my dear listener, thank you for listening to this wonderful episode. I hope you enjoyed the episode. And as I told you, this wonderful month of April, we shall have these wonderful collaborations between Hear My True Story podcast and Ugandan Art Speaks Out. And at the end of it, you'll be enjoying some of these wonderful stories from individuals that are sharing their personal stories. And as a podcaster, I look at collaborations and exchanges as one of the best ways of sharing creative content with our dear listeners. I hope that you enjoyed the episode, and I hope to see you again next week on Hear My True Story podcast. Yeah, it is me, your host, Otako, and I'm always happy to have you. And I would like to say bye for now.
We not only have voices for a podcast, but also faces for YouTube. Don't miss your next episode. Hear My True Story.
Thank you for listening to our podcast, Music by Edwin Matovo, hosted and produced by Otako. Subscribe to our podcast for more stories and visit us on our website, hearmytruestory.com, for more stories. All the links are listed in the show notes of this podcast.